Good morning! Hi cubies and newbies, I am Sunshine. This is the ABCube method for solving Rubik's Cube, ABCube tutorial for the ABCube method. I am the ABCube tutor. And this works for, I believe it's the newest, completely original new method. There are several methods out there for solving Rubik's Cubes. This is only one of them. However, this is not geared for speed solving. It is not geared for fewest moves. It's not going to help you get sub 20 seconds. This is specifically geared for newbies. This is geared for non-cubers. This is geared for, my brother can solve it. I've never been able to. This is geared for, I've had a cube sitting on my shelf. Don't let anyone touch it because I can't solve it. This is, in my opinion, the simplest method for solving Rubik's Cube because it works on every complexity Rubik's Cube and it only uses two formulas or algorithms. The two formulas are Formula A and Formula B because we're breaking it down to the ABCs of the basics. So Formula A is 4 moves, Formula B is 8 moves, and that's all you need to solve every complexity Rubik's Cube because you just, once you've Formula A brings a piece to the top and we'll twist a corner around, and Formula B moves 3 pieces around, and only 3 pieces around, and that's all you ever need to do. And so this breaks it down. I did not create the commutators, of course, but what I did create is the method of using the commutators to be able to solve all of the cubes in the same way. So once you've learned this method, it doesn't matter which size cube you're working on, you can pick it up and put it down solved. With algorithms, you not only do you have to memorize the algorithm, you have to memorize what that particular algorithm does and which order to use the algorithm so that you're not undoing things you've already done. And this is, like I said, B moves 3 pieces and only 3 pieces, and with Formula A is all you need to do. So let's dive right into it. It also works on every complexity minx as well. I have that. It's not solved because I have it geared up for waiting for someone to ask me how to solve the last layer. Because minx is you can intuit up to the last layer, and then if you're not careful, things start falling apart. So let's see who's here. Hi, you guys. Thanks for joining me. Alright, so it's Friday. I've done the corners already. The corners, every cube has 8 corners, and when you do those corners, you've established what color each face is going to be. So if you've got, when you get the corners done, the 2x2 is solved. And then when you get adding further edge pieces as the cubes get bigger, further types of pieces as the cubes get bigger, then when you add the absolute centerpiece and the edges, then the 3x3 gets solved, and then you have just the centers left on the larger cubes. So so what does Formula A and B do? Let's go over those before I dive into solving. Formula A will bring a piece to the front, will bring a piece up to the top face. So if it's the corner that you want to bring up, bottom row right column, out, down, in, up, out. Oh, and what just happened was the piece that was here has moved up here, and so these 2 pieces have switched. These 3 edges have switched. A lot of things happen with Formula A, but if you do it in patterns of rows of 6, everything goes back to normal. So it only ends up affecting the top layer because the rest of the cube falls into place. You can use Formula A Okay, so let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is an 8, not an even number cube, not a number cube. It also works on the absolute center. You just use this row and this column, and it will give you boxes. Formula A affects all 6 sides, so you gotta be careful how you're using it. But it will bring a piece to the top, and they'll twist the corners around. Everything else is 8 moves. Formula B. And that moves 3 pieces around. Top row, 2 columns, and you don't have to remember if you alter what columns you're using, you're altering which pieces you move around, but you're always only moving 3 pieces. So top row outside columns is the corners that you're moving around. Oops. Up, up, down, down, and 3 pieces that move with these corners. Okay. If I pick an edge piece, then the pieces that it's moving, then I apply Formula B to this piece, meaning the first column is where I want it to land, second column is where it begins. So if I want this to land over here, I would go away, first up, back, second up, I knocked the thing off, reverse, down, and it moved 3 pieces, and only these 3 pieces. Okay, if I want to move a center piece, I pick the piece that I want to move, and the 2 columns are the columns that incorporate this cube. So I might move it up, slide to a different column. Second up is the new column that has landed into. Reverse down, and set the top. So whether you want to move the corners or the edges or the centers, Formula B will do that. So the first thing you do is pick your color. I always start with yellow. You can be color neutral if you want to, but I always start with yellow because it works conveniently on all of the cubes that I have, even the ones that don't have all the same colors on it. So first thing to do is use Formula A to bring the piece to the top, and once the yellow is on the top face, then you look to see whether the sides match. If either all of them match, none of them match, or one side matches. That's just how it is based on the mechanics of the cube. If no side matches, it doesn't matter how you do the next step. If one side matches, you held the matching face facing away from you. But then you would do Formula B to move these 3 pieces around, and A to bring the color back to the top. And then it progresses to the next stage, where if there's none, there's one. If there's one, there's no, all 4 of them. And then you turn it upside down, do the exact same thing, bring the white to the top, move the pieces around as needed, and then line it up. So once Formula A and B is all you need for this, but it's also all you need for everything else. So because I've been looking for A and B, I've trained my eyes to look for A and B, I'm going to continue looking for A and B. So the next step that I'm going to do now is the opposite edges. Okay, so Formula A, as I demonstrated, is going to move an edge piece from the top front to the side front. So I take my cube and I hold it so that the faces as dictated by the corners, yellow and white are left and right. And then I'm going to just find any yellow or whites in the middle areas and throw them to the sides that they want to be on until the yellows and whites are all gone, and then I look and then I assess. So let's demonstrate. Hold the cube, yellow and white are left and right, and then you are looking for anything in the middle, anything that's not the outside columns that has a yellow or white. We're only looking at edges. For the corners, we're only looking at corners. Right now, we're only looking at edges. Don't get confused by the center pieces. But because the corners are already placed to each other, that's a guide to where the edges want to be placed. So we hold the cube, yellow and white, left and right. Move the corners as a unit to match the front color. And then, so this color is blue, white, and blue. So the blues match the front, and the white is, we have to determine which direction we're going. So yellow's on this side, and white, according to the corners, and white is on this side. So this blue and white is going to land somewhere in this column above this blue and white and something color. So top row, First column's where it's going to land, second column's where it begins. So these are the two columns I'm using. The rest of the cube doesn't do anything. So I start by moving away. So away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down, and this cube has placed. Okay, so naturally we know that the cube that was here moved, and the cube that was here moved, because this one had to go here. And so those are two of the three pieces that moved. The third piece is that this piece comes forward. So there's always three pieces that are moving. So I'm looking for another yellow or white. Here's a yellow, but I have to flip it if I use that one. Here's a yellow. Okay. All right, so my active color, which is either yellow or white, is on top. The corners match the front. If not, I would move the corners to make that happen. And then determine the direction. It's going this way. So I move it, if we're following B as it's written, to go to the other side, it would be the reverse of the movement. So because this is going over here, and these are together, so I can leave them together because it doesn't, but I'm not taking time to match up my edges. I'm just, I've placed them as I see them, as they come up, slide down, and they will pair themselves up, which seems to me fewer decisions and searching of the cube, rather than spending my time looking for a particular cube. I just find a cube that's wrong, throw it into its direction, and find another piece. I don't waste time finding edge pieces to pair. So this piece, corners match the front, is going in the red and the yellow direction. So this will be my first column, this is my second column, and I start by moving away from the action. So we go first up, second up, down, down. Every other move is horizontal, every other horizontal is the reverse of the one before it, and for every up there's a down, for every left there's a right. So again, it only moves three pieces at a time, so you don't have to worry about it. Here's a white, okay, reading the corners to match the front. Determine its direction. It's going this direction now. Okay, so away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down, and it is placed. If you just joined me, I am Sunshine. Thanks for giving me your morning, being part of my morning with me. Today's Friday, so I'm just going to finish off these cubes. So yellow and white are left and right as dictated by the corners. I find a cube in the middle area. I'm working opposite edges right now. Find a cube an edge cube in the middle area that has yellow or white. I want that color to be on top. If I had selected this one, where it's on front, I would flip the cube so that it's on top. But yellow and white are still left and right in some such order. Bring the corners to match the front. Determine which direction it's going in. You don't get. It's not a decision; it's a determination. So the orange and white's going to go above the orange and white something corner, which is this way. So away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. It's just Formula B. 8 moves over and over and over again. So because it's just the two moves, you don't have to spend time, you don't have to analyze, you don't have to use your brain power to determine which formula is the best one to move right now. I don't have one for moving clockwise, one for moving counterclockwise, one for moving diagonals. It's just formula. It's just find a cube that's not right, line up the corners, throw it in the direction it wants to be. Away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. So it's very simple. I've taught many people who think that they can't learn. So this cube is going to go over on this side. Both of these want to move out, so it's going to be advantageous because they're both yellow or white. They're both active colors. So it's going to be advantageous to move both of these pieces in. Before I do, I'm just going to take a quick glance at the other colors that are lined up here to see whether the other blue and yellow happens to be there. And if it is, I would place them both, and if not, I'm just going to place this piece and this garbage piece to displace these. So slide up, slide down, okay? And find another white or yellow. Make sure the active color is on top. Bring the corners to match the front, and determine its direction. If it's going to the left, it's be as written. If it's going to the right, it's the mirror of each of those movements. So you find where it's going to land, that's the first column, and move away from the action. First up, back, second up, away, down, back, down. And we move, so up, up, down, down, we just move 3 cubes around. Looking for another yellow or white in the center areas. Bring the corners to match the front, and it's just a lather, rinse, repeat, more of the same. And we keep doing this for as long as there's a yellow or white to place. Here, so here's a white. It's on front, so I flip it. Yellow and white are still left and right though. First column is where it's going to land, second is where it is. Away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. And we're just placing them a piece at a time. And so total non-cubers can pick, every cube can be done the exact same way. So it's not learn these methods, learn these algorithms in order to do a 3x3, and then we'll just learn these algorithms to make the 4x4 look like the 3x3, and then solve like the 3x3 because you know how to do that. This doesn't presuppose that you've already studied. It doesn't. You don't have to learn a computer language. You don't have to memorize. You don't have to memorize. Intuitively understand that right is the parallel of left prime. So when there are no more left or white, yellow or whites in the middle, then we assess. And so either everything's going to be happy where it wants to be, or it's not. And if it is, we're going to leave it alone. But if there are pieces that are not in the right place, then we're going to displace those pieces. Also formula B, we're just going to, yellow and white are still left and right, we're just going to find a piece that's wrong, and we're going to use formula B to displace that piece into the middle where we can work on it. So yellow and white are left and right. This is my first column. If it's a large cube, you may not be sure which your second column is, but follow the piece that you're displacing, and it will tell you which columns you're in. So away, up, in, and where it landed, there is my second up. Out, down, in, down. So that put a garbage piece in here, and it put this piece, this yellow or white piece, into the middle where I can work with it. So yellow's on front, flip the cube, yellow, white are left and right, line up the corners, and place it, and that will give me another yellow or white to work on. And I'm going to do this until the yellow or whites all disappear from the middle again. And then I assess. White's on front, flip it. Yellow and white are left and right. Corners match the front. Determine its direction. Away, up, in, up. Away, down, in, down. And continue displacing your opposite edges, yellow and white, till they're all gone. Okay. Corners match the front, it's going in this direction, so away from the action, move the piece up, move it back, and then move the piece into the space there in the back, and then down, down. Okay, no yellow or white here, no yellow or white here, no yellow or white here, no. Okay, so the yellow and whites, we've used them all up, so now we check, and this time they look happy in relation to the corners. Both the yellows and the whites do. So that's the opposite edges. Okay. We'll then put the white on bottom and keep going with the side edges, but before we do that, let's do this on the other cubes that we have as well. The reason why I don't just take a scramble and just go through the solve for it is because when I was trying to learn, it wasn't helpful to me, because I'd look at the piece, I had to find if the piece that I was trying to find was how to set the last center, then I'd have to watch the video till I got to where they're doing what I wanted to learn. You know, like how do I move a piece to the side? And so I'd have to watch until I got to the part that I wanted to learn. And I'm like, okay, this is what I have to watch. And then they'd say, now just move this one over to the, and then like, as if I already knew. So just following through from a Scrabble to a solve is really most helpful if you already know what you're doing, not if you're trying to learn. So since I don't know what the cube in your hand looks like, the best thing I can do is go through each step over and over again with the various positions that your cube might look like. And for example, when the corners are on top and we're looking to see whether the sides go, if I have one cube that has none of the sides match, and one cube that has all the sides match, and one cube that has one side that matches, I can show you. And if I have, if this piece wants to go, excuse me, if this piece wants to go to the right, then I should also have lined up a piece that wants to go to the left, like this piece right here. Okay, so I can say to move it to the left, you start by move it away from where it wants to go, move the where it's going to land up, move it back in, second piece up, and down and down. But if your piece had to go to the left, you would be trying to opposite what I'm doing. So I need to have one that goes to the left as well to show you. So this piece is going to land here, away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. So I do it, and I go over and over it till it's obvious. Okay, but the edge pieces are all solved the same format. So corners match the front, active colors on top, which is yellow. Yellow and white are left and right according to the corners. I determine its direction and start by moving, determine its direction over here. Start by moving it away. First up is where it's going to land, back. Second up is where it is now. And then reverse down, reverse down. So these, okay. Alright. Here's yellow and white are left and right. Look for the center pieces that have one of those colors. Bring the corners to match the front, determine its direction, it's this way. And because I've got more columns that I'm working with, I can take shortcuts here if I want to. So every one of these is a yellow or white that wants to move out. You'll notice that since I can rotate my corners freely, I can also rotate the center columns freely while I'm working on the opposite edges. You can't move them freely when you're working on the side edges, but you can here. So I'm going to look at the other cubes and other columns to see whether any of them I want to be placed as well. And that can save me some time. None of them did, but all of these are garbage pieces, so they can all be placed here. So I'm going to move all of these out at the same time. And that just gives me more active colors in the middle that I can work on. Okay, so here's a blue and white. Bring the corners to match the front. It's going in this direction. None of them are already placed, so I'm going to look and see if there's any more blue or whites that want to place at the same time. And there's not, and that's okay. But I am going to move this piece out at the same time I place this one. So I'm going to move them as one. Okay, and then yellow or white, bring the corners to match the front. Determine its direction. Okay, and 1, 2, 3, just seeing if there's anything that wants to move in. 1, 2, 3, there's not. So I'm going to place this one. I'm going to move this one out as well. Up, up, down, down. The larger pieces you can move it, the larger blocks of pieces you can move at a time. The higher the probability of some of the pieces that you're moving that you're not paying attention to might automatically fall into place where they want to be. So it doesn't ever hurt to use large blocks when you can. So this one, corners match the front, it's going in this direction. These two both want to move. So is there anything else here in the middle that is happily placed? Well, 1, 2, 3. I saw that those greens are together, so I'm going to change what I'm doing. I'm going to place those greens right now. Okay, so corners match the front. Determine its direction. All three pieces want to move, so is there another green? Yes, there is. So I can move all those at the same time. Slide up, slide up. Excuse me. Excuse me. Slide up, slide down, and there they are placed. Okay. And again, it's just looking for whites and yellows. Here's the red. We've already established that it's not helpful to move other pieces. So I'm going to bring some, okay, wait, I'm going to do the red and whites first, because I can. Okay, so they're going to go in this direction. Where's the other red or white here? 1, 2, 3. Yes, it is. Okay, so I'm going to place all three of these in there. Slide up, slide, second up, reverse down, reverse down. Okay. This one's going in this direction. This one doesn't want to place right now, but that one doesn't either. So, going to place this one here. Slide up, and displace that yellow at the same time. Down, down. Okay, and then place this yellow and white are left and right. It's going in this direction. Okay, is there another one? No. So I'm just going to place this one piece. Slide up, slide down, slide down. If you've just joined me, I am Sunshine. Thank you for joining me. This is the ABCube method for solving Rubik's Cubes. Works on every complexity Rubik's Cubes, and to demonstrate I'm solving each step on every complexity, on different complexity Rubik's Cubes, so you can see how they're all treated the exact same way. Here is a blue and yellow. Yellow's on top, bring the corners to match the front. Determine its direction, it's going this way. This one's already here, but I can place these two as if they were one piece. Away, up, in, up that one, and that one. Away, down, back, down, and down. And those are placed. Find another piece, yellow or white, that's in the middle. Yellow and white are left and right as dictated by the corners, which we did first. Bring the corners to match the front. Determine which direction it's going to go. So it's green and yellow, so it's going to go to the green-yellow side. It's going to land somewhere above this green-yellow and something corner, not above the green and white something. So it's going in this direction. So first column is where it's going to land, second column is where it begins. Away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. So again, the way to read Formula A and Formula B is to hold the cube in your hands, look at the front as if it were a spreadsheet with rows and columns, and the arrows on the formula represent the single slice you're going to move at a time. So yellow and white are left and right. Bring the corners to match the front. Determine its direction. It's going in this direction. So does the other one just happen to automatically be in where it can be placed? No. So I won't worry about that. So it's just this piece. It's going in this direction. Move it away. First up is where the piece is going to land. Back, and now this piece lands it there. Okay? and then back down, back down. So it's up, up, down, down. And it's up, up, down, down over and over again, so you don't have to remember. There's no mental cognitive dissonance as to which way, which formula do I need to do next. It's always formula A or B. So this one's going to land here. This one also wants to move out, so let's see if there's something convenient to place, and there is. So I'm going to place both of these around this piece here. So away, up, in, up, up, away, down, back, down, down. And those places are placed. Looking for any yellow or white. Here's some. I want the active color to be on top, so I flip it. Yellow and white are still left and right. And then I bring the corners to match the front. It's going this direction, so away, up, in, up, see? Out, down, in, down. And we're placing pieces just, one at a time or more if we can. Now you notice that I'm not pairing them up before I place them, because that requires looking at the cube for a certain piece that you want and then placing them, whereas instead I just find a piece that's wrong, throw it in the direction it wants to be, and they will pair themselves up. I don't have to pair them. So corners match the front. It's going in this direction. This one I can't place right now because it would be flipped. So just this corner, just this edge piece, up, up, down, down, okay, and I know this piece is one, so flip it, so yellow and white are still left and right, bring the corners to match the front, okay. Determine its direction and move it away, first up, in, second up, away, down, in, down, and we're just placing pieces one at a time. No yellow and white here, but there's still one here. Goodbye. Okay, corners match the front. It's going in this direction. Real quick glance here to see if it's helpful, and it's not. So away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. Okay. No yellow or white here. There's one here. Yellow and white are left and right. Well, I have to color on top. Corners match the front. Away, up, in, second up, away, down, in, second down. Okay, no yellow or white, no yellow or white, no yellow. There's a yellow. Okay. Active color on top, bring the corners to match the front, determine its direction. Away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. No yellow, we're looking for yellow or white edges. We don't find any, so now we assess. Either the edges are now happily placed between the corners, or they're not. And if they are, we leave them alone. And if they're not, then the pieces that are incorrect, we're going to displace one from the center into the piece that's incorrect. Like say if this piece was here and this piece was here, we displace piece from the center for incorrect, and that would bring it to the middle, and then we place it where it wanted to be. So opposite edges are done here. Opposite edges are done here. This one's a larger cube. It takes more, there's more movements. I'm going to do this one next. So hold the cube, yellow and white are left and right. I've lined up the center on the yellow and white sides because I can, but if I didn't, I could do that. I could use formula A to place it later. So yellow and white are left and right. I'm looking for yellow or white in the middle. Here's one. Okay, we're only looking at edge pieces. We're not looking at centers right now. So yellow's on top, yellow and white are left and right. Bring the corners to match the front, determine its direction, and top row, first column, second column. First column's where it's going to land, second column's where it is. It's easier to see when it's a smaller piece. And then we start by moving this piece away from the action, away, up, in, up. You can see that that's placed now. Away, down, in, down. And that piece is placed. Here's a yellow, here's another white. Okay, yellow and white are left and right. Corners match the front. Determine its direction and start by moving away. First up, back, second up, away, down, in, down. Okay? Another yellow or white. Active color should be on top. Yellow and white are still left and right. Bring the corners to the front. Corners to match the front. Determine its direction. Slide up, slide up, slide down, slide down. Okay, there's another one. Corners already match the front. Determine its direction. Slide up, slide up, slide down, slide down. Okay, not yellow or white, not yellow or white. Here's a white. This one's on top, so I can do it without flipping. So corners match the front. Going in this direction, so it's the mirror of each movement. First column, second column, away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. Here's another one. Yellow and white are left and right, active colors on top, bring the corners to match the front, determine its direction, away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. Okay? So that's not yellow or white, that's not yellow or white, that's not yellow or white, so now we assess. Either the edges are now happily placed between their corners, which they are on the whites, but on the yellows, this one is misplaced. Okay? Now, if I'm going to place this correctly before I move to the next step, even though it's a shortcut to leave it that way and use it as on my next step. So I'm going to move it out, and then I'm going to place it properly. Okay, so I do that by putting another piece into this spot. Slide up, slide down, and that put this piece in the middle areas, again, where I can work with it. Okay, so bring the corners to match the front. It's going in this direction. Up, up, down, down. And what I just did is also the way to play it flips two edges. The two edges that it flips are the top front and the left front. So again, it's formula B, and then bring it back to the front and place it again. Instead of bringing it back to the front, I flipped it and did a bunch of things, but that's how you do the last two. So opposite edges are done. I'm not going to do this one, it's too big. Opposite edges are done. Center is white and yellow. The opposite centers are placed. Before I proceed, I'm going to set the center before I start working on the side edges. If I can on this one, because I can't see if the center is correct or not. But if it's a odd number cube, you can place the absolute center before you start on the side edges. Okay, so yellow and white are left and right. We're going to finish off the edges here, and we're going to do that by putting the white face down. We're going to work on with just the yellows. The white's going to stay face down until the rest of the edges are all done. I'm looking at the side edges, and I'm seeing, okay, are any of them correct? If any of them are correct, I'm going to leave them alone. If they're not correct, for any reason, then that's the one I'm going to displace. So I'm going to displace a yellow into this spot and wait until the yellow, then I'm going to work with the pieces that are not yellow with white face down, placing them correctly until my yellow finds its way back to the top. So displace this yellow into here, up, up, down, down, okay? And this yellow went over here, but as I work with this one, it's going to come back. So this other yellow is going to go bob back and forth until the other yellow comes back to the top. So I find a piece on top that's not yellow, okay? And holding just the top row, I rotate the rest of the cube until the corners, we're ignoring everything on top that's yellow. We're only looking at the piece that we can place. So the rest of the cube I move until the bottom corners match the front. Okay, corners match the front. Determine which direction it wants to go. It wants to land above this corner, not above this corner. So away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. And that is placed. And the piece that was here is now up here. So I'm looking for a piece on top that's not yellow. Yellow came back to the top. When yellow comes back to the top, either correctly or incorrectly, that's when we assess. So this piece is not correct. This piece, this one's correct, but none of the others are. So I'm going to displace this incorrect yellow into one of the side pieces, which will put that where I can out into play. Slide up, slide up, slide down, slide down. Okay, this piece is not yellow. Corners match the front already. Determine its direction. It's going this way. So away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. Okay. Find another piece on top that's not yellow. Corners match the front. It's going in this direction. So away, first up, back, second up, away, down, back, down. Okay. Find another piece not yellow. Read the corners to match the front. Determine its direction, and the first column is where it's going to land, second is where it is. Slide up, slide up, slide down, slide down. And when yellow comes back to the top again, you reassess. So the 3x3 is done. And when we do the side edges on these, that will leave just the centers. But the corners and edges are there as visual clues for which columns I'm working on, so I don't lose track of where I'm working. So, pick one. Yellow and white are left and right. Okay, white goes face down now. And again, we're going to displace a yellow into a incorrect spot. This one's correct. I'm going to leave that one alone. This one's not correct. I'm going to displace this one. Okay, so something that the top is going to place into here. So I go away, up, in. This is column is the one I'm working on. So there's my second up, and then down and down, and that gives me a piece on top that's not yellow. And with the bottom face down for the rest of until all the edges are complete. I bring the corner to match the front. Determine its direction, and away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. Find a piece on top that's not yellow. Now I only displaced one yellow, but if you have a larger cube, you can displace more than one yellow at a time. But you don't want to go for displacing yellow. You don't want to go past the center, because that way we're forcing the cube. If there is a parity, we're forcing it to show up on the same slice rather than on different slices, just to make it easier for fixing that parity. So corners match the front. It's going in this direction. Slide up, slide second up, slide down, and that's placed. Another piece that's not yellow. Bring the corners to match the front. Okay. Determine its direction. It's going in this way. Away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. And like I said, they will place themselves. You don't have to place your cube. Don't have to search the cube over for the piece that matches an edge piece. You don't have to spend your time doing that. Corners match the front. It's going in this direction. Up, up, down, down. Find another piece. Corners to match the front. Determine its direction. Away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. Okay. Look for a piece that's not yellow. We're going to keep doing this until the yellow finds its way back to the top. Corners match the front. It's going in this direction. Slide up, slide down, slide down. Okay. And yes, yellow found its way back to the top. So we assess. Okay. It doesn't have to be correct. It just has to be on the top layer, not the top face. So these sides are complete. These sides are complete. These sides are complete. These sides are complete. And so at this point in time, we have what is called a parity. But don't worry, a parity is a lie. We don't have to play with them. We don't have to play with parities. If they show up, we can make them go away. So, a parity, because the 3x3 was the original, when we came up with the 4x4, and we realized there was something that could happen on the 4x4 that could not happen on the 3x3. Because on the 3x3, you never saw two pieces and only two pieces that needed to move. You saw pieces that needed to switch, and that's okay. But you never saw three pieces to move because mathematically it couldn't happen on a 3x3. And it can happen on a 4x4. So we're like, okay, this is something different. We have to learn how to handle it. And so we came up with parity algorithms, not we, the community. We came up with parity algorithms, which is a way to switch just these two pieces and not without messing up the rest of your cube. However, the cube is inherently honest and a parity is a lie because formula B is always going to move three pieces around. And if there's only two pieces and only two pieces to move, that is a lie. There's always three pieces. So the third piece that if you only see two pieces, the third piece that you do not see is literally the piece that you do not see. It is the slice that is touching the parity is a quarter turn off. So right now, if you look at just the edges, if this piece there's only two pieces that are wrong, but this one wants to be here, this one wants to be here. If I move this slice 1/4 turn in either direction, it doesn't matter which direction, just I move this a quarter turn either direction, then one of those is now correctly placed, and the other three on that layer, on that slice, are incorrectly placed. So there's three pieces that you want to move. You probably have an algorithm that will move those three pieces specifically, but if there's three pieces that want to move, the parity is gone. Poof, you don't have to worry about it anymore. So I'm going to, orange is my top now, I'm going to place these edge pieces. I'm going to use formula B because I can, but you can use whatever algorithm you want. But I'm going to place these pieces one at a time, and this time, with that slice in this orientation, that parity has disappeared, and it will not. I can place the edges without effect, without adverse effect. So we made the parity disappear. The parity can look a lot of different ways. It can look like a lot of different things. We can call them different names, but a parity is always, always, always caused by the center slice being 1/4 turn off. And if you if you rotate the center slice that touches the parity, any one of the one that touches the parity, then that parity disappears, poof, it's all gone. So there we have it. So the cage is done, corners and edges are done. All that's left is the center. And because I saved the center for the last, when I made that slice of the parity, slice to get rid of the parity, it didn't matter to me that I offset what the centers were because the centers weren't solved yet. So that's one reason why I saved the centers for last. So this one had a parity. This one. Let's see if this one has a parity. So white goes face down. I'm going to do this one, and then I'm done for the day. If anyone has any comments or questions or wants to talk to me or tell me where they're from, or what's your fastest time, or what's your favorite scramble, who's your favorite cuber. I like to chat more than I like to monologue, so we'll do that. So white goes face down, yellow's on top. I'm going to displace a piece so that I can use formula B to place them correctly into the side slots. So all of these need to be placed. I'm going to displace something into this spot. Now I can do this do this one column at a time, or like I said, I can displace all the way up through the center but not beyond. So I'm going to do that, and then down and down. And so these yellows will find their way back to the top eventually. In the meantime, I'm working on white is face down, and I'm working on whatever is not yellow. I'm going to do this one first because I'm English. I read left to right. I'm right-handed, so hello, kitty. By the way, this is my kitty cat. This is Fluffer Bunny. This was Fluffer Bunny. She can never understand when my fingers are doing something that's not scratching her. She thinks my fingers should be scratching her. Okay, so bring the corners, hold the top row, bring the corners to match the front. Okay. Determine its direction. Start by moving away. First up is where it's going to land. Second up is where it is right now. And down and down. Okay. Now look for the piece that's not yellow. This one now. Bring the corners to match the front. Determine its direction. Away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. Okay. Look for not yellow. Corners match the front. Determine its direction. Okay. These two, I can treat these as one piece right now because both of these want to go down. So I'm going to do that. Up, up, down, down. I do it when it's convenient, but I don't have to. If it's not convenient, I don't do it. And then these pieces want to place. Bring the corners to match the front. Determine its direction is this way. Treat it as one. Slide up, slide, second up, slide down, slide down. Okay, a little bit of a shortcut. Piece that's not yellow. Corners match the front. It's going in this direction. Away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. Find a piece that's not yellow. Bring the corners to match the front. I've been told this is boring. And my response was, that's the point. It is supposed to be simple. Find corners match the front, determine its direction. One at a time, slide up, slide up, slide down, slide down. It's placed. Another not yellow. Corners match the front. Slide up, slide up, slide down, slide down. Okay, one of the yellows has found its way back to the top, but we're still ignoring the yellows until we get rid of, till the yellow finds its way back to the top. So corners match the front, determine its direction, up, up, down, down. Okay. Yellow found its way back to the top. So we assess. These ones are correct, these ones are correct, these ones are correct, these ones are correct. If they were not, I would have used one of my incorrects to displace into it and keep going. So here again we have a parity. Parities can show up a little less than half of the time, but they're more likely to show up if you've paired your edges and you're treating them as one and before you get to this step. So before that was the slice that I moved, and I changed my top color. If I wanted to keep yellow as my top color, what I would do is I would displace one of the parity down into a different column, different row, and that is the row that I would move. Okay, so this is the row that I'm going to move a quarter turn, and that way I can keep my yellow on top if I care about not being color neutral. So piece that's not yellow, bring the corners to match the front, determine its direction, away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. Find a piece that's not yellow, out, up, in, up, out, down, in, down, find a piece that's not yellow. Corners match the front. Slide up, slide up, slide down, slide down. Piece that's not yellow. Keep going until the yellow finds its way back to the top, which it's going to right now because I'm displacing the yellow. So up, up, down, down. And yellow comes back to the top, set the top, and we're done. So I do the corners first and then the edges and then the centers because the parity can show up as a corner parity or as an edge parity. But when the parity shows up, a single quarter turn of the slice that touches the parity disappears and you can move on. So we did the corners the other day, and today we did the edges, and all that's left is the centers. I'm going to do a couple of centers just to demonstrate how they're doing, and I'm going to do the rest of them save it for this evening's session to finish the centers. Because I'm going to come back this evening. So for the centers, you can use Formula A for one face and one face only, because Formula A for the centers affects all 6 sides at the same time. So I only teach it for the corners and for the absolute center, because the absolute center is affecting all six sides already. But for if there's nothing that you want that looks like it's something already solved that you want to save, then you can use it for one face. For example, here's some. We're going to do this. These are 2 oranges. They want to go up here. I could use Formula A. I would move these pieces away, move the space down, move the pieces into the space, and piece in the space back up again. Okay. Here's another white. Here's another orange. Wants to land here. Out, down, in, up. Okay. Here's another orange. Bring it under where it wants to be. Move it out, down, in, up, and then reset. So you can do it for one face, but you cannot do it for all of the faces. The Formula B, you know what, this is small. I'm just going to finish it. So everything else is Formula B. So you find a piece, just find a piece that's incorrect, and determine the incorrect on your front face, and you're going to throw it to the top. So hold the cube so that the color, its color is on the top face. Okay, so when we used the outside columns, it would move the corners, outside, inside, moves the edges. 2 inner columns are going to move the centers around. Okay, so for which the 2 columns are, and it does have to be 2 columns. So if it's a diagonal center, you've got to be a little bit mindful of it. So you find the piece that you want to place, and you follow that piece, and that tells you what the 2 columns are. So move this piece to the top, rotate the top so it lands in a different column. Now if I go this way, it's the same column, so that's not going to work. So separate column, and then this where it landed is my second column. So up, second up, and then reverse, and like I said, the edges are there to keep me on track of where I am, and then reverse and back down. Set the top and keep going. Here's another white. Okay, it's going to land here, so I can bring down this white, this blue, this red, or this yellow. Yellow is most advantageous to bring down because it's the opposite of white. It has to move twice anyway. So up, slide to a different column, second up, reverse, down, set the top, and keep going. Here's a yellow. Okay, so so the yellow's on top. Okay, it's going to land right here, so I can bring down the yellow, the blue, the yellow, or the red. So slide up, up, slide, second up, reverse, down, and then if I get distracted, someone talk to me, the cat jumped on my lap, I dropped the cube, whatever, and so I've forgotten which direction I'm going, the edges are there as a visual to remind me. It's not that way because that doesn't line up, so it's this way. So that's another reason why I do the corners and edges first. Here's a blue. is going to land here, so I can bring down the red, the white, the blue, or the green. So I'll bring down the green because it has to jump twice anyway. So up, slide up, reverse down, reverse down. Set the top and keep going. Here's the green. Hold the green until it's on top. Okay. I can bring down the red, or the blue, or the green. So up, slide to a different column, second up. Reverse, down, and set. Okay. Here's a blue. Okay. I can bring down the red or the white. So line it up with the red. Up. Now it looks, I remember I said that Formula B always moves 3 pieces around. When I'm doing the edges, it looks like I'm moving 2 pieces around sometimes, but it's always 3 pieces. The only reason it looks like it's 2 pieces is 2 of them are the same color. So if you'll notice that when this blue goes up here, this piece doesn't come down here. It's going to come into a different column, and that column's piece is going to come here. So up, down, down. Okay, so it is 3 pieces even though it looks like you're swapping 2. Okay, so here's a red. Line it up on top. Bring down something advantageous. Up, slide, up, reverse, down, reverse, down. Okay, here's a white. Okay, I can line it up. Up, slide, up, reverse, down, set the top. Here's a blue. There we go. Line it up, slide, up, reverse, down, and set the top. Okay. Here's red and green is all that's left. Okay. Lined up, slide, second up, reverse down, set the top. Okay, one more. Line it up, slide, up, reverse down, set the top. So, like I said, Formula A brings a piece to the top. Formula A brings a corner to the top. Formula A twists the corners. Formula A brings the opposite center to the top. And we'll do one face, but only one face. B does everything else. And you don't have to remember which columns do what. You just pick the cube that you want to move, and the cube dictates what those columns are. Outside columns moves corners. Inside moves edges. 2 insides moves the centers. And the thing that actually makes the pieces visually move is the fact that you're using an outside slice to do it. For example, if instead of using the top row for my Formula B for the edges, if I used a different column, if the top row is not part of the formula, nothing's going to be visual. So if I use this row and this column and this column, I would move it away, up, back, second up, away, down, back, second down. Things in middle pieces moved, but nothing visual on the cube. So so A is 1 row, 1 column, B is 1 row, 2 columns, and that's all you need for everything. It also works on every complexity minx. I have this one set up for how do you solve the last layer. Because someone asked me that, so I'm going to wait for it to be asked again. Or maybe I'll do that this afternoon. All right, you guys, thank you for joining me. Go have a wonderful day. Be nice to yourself. And be fun. And come join me again. I'll see you guys later. Bye.